Hello and welcome to Simon's Trading Channel. Happy Friday. It's the end of the week for CME and here we are with the CME weekly chart, which we may as well just dive straight into. And it's funny because if you, with only 1.5 hours until weekly closure on CME, I'm going to suggest it's not going to be a particularly remarkable weekly candle. But it's funny when you look at this. So this whole price action here, which, let me just move this thing out of the way that you can't see, but I can, and it's blocking all my tools. If you look at this, right? So that, in fact, if I put my drawing tool over here, if you go from the bottom to the top, 200%, nearly 200%, and it's a serious amount of gains, and it happened over 37 weeks. But when you really break it down, the vast majority of that upward move happened on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 candles. So 37 weeks, and the vast majority of it happened over 8 weeks. Just shows you how important even though they're boring, how important the consolidation periods are, because they are reference ranges, and they are sort of lines in the sand, or this is where I look at them, the kind of lines in the sand for continuation or reversal, particularly on a higher time frame like the weekly. And right now, the line in the sand is still there, and indeed, you can't be bearish about a chart that looks like this. You just can't. I mean, if you think that's a bearish chart, then you should probably hunt something other than bears, because that's very much a bullish chart. And you can see the momentum is still very much to the upside. And by the way, I love all animals apart from cats. So I don't want you to take that hunting bears thing reference the wrong way. I think we should live and let live when it comes to animals. Well, I do like eating chicken and steak and all that sort of stuff. So maybe I'm a bit hypocritical on that front. Yes, and probably am. Anyway, I'm going to move on because, funnily enough, this is a trading channel, not a philosophy channel on eating meat. So there you go, the weekly chart on CME. I'm now going to switch over to Bybit, where I have my range of doom. There it is. It's loud and proud, alive and well. It has been for 13 weeks, near enough. And if you come down to the daily, so it's a daily chart. I put this little blue line on yesterday. It's kind of still working. Now, three very smart daily candles there, all lined up in a row, a bit like soldiers. Next to these 4 ones, all lined up in a row, a bit like soldiers. So that's kind of interesting. It's just a daily consolidation is all it is. But there haven't been any, I'm not sure if there have been any 4-hour closures below this line, but there certainly haven't been any daily closures below this line. I know I only put it on yesterday. But today, with low volatility, I mean, could still close down below 67, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. On the 4-hour front, oh, and I just wanted to so the daily momentum still to the upside, just kind of cooling off, but to the upside. This trend line's looking a bit less certain, although, you know, trend line's a trend line, right? It's just something you draw on a chart. The 4-hour momentum's still down, and it has turned back down too. but it is getting some good support from this area, and I do wonder if it's just going to sort of bounce around for the weekend, or will there be some meaningful impulsive movements over the weekend? Not sure, if I'm honest. With this 4-hour momentum being to the downside, I am starting to think that there may be a further pullback here with the way this is shaping up. So you can see the 4-hour lower highs coming in here, belting their heads up against support. And the longer that goes on, the weaker the support will become and the more likely it will break through. So I do think that potentially the next move of significance may be to the downside. And it would ruin my trend line, but it wouldn't. A pullback that produces a higher low above this one would still be that. It would just be a pullback. You just end up with this kind of move, you know, as opposed to the move that's kind of on the table already. So, yeah, either of those that I just showed still maintain the uptrend status, or as people across the Atlantic like to say, status. Oh yeah, talking about troubles across the Atlantic, looks like Donald Trump is oh so colourful life just got a bit more colourful with a conviction. Interesting, having a presidential candidate who's just been convicted of some sort of crime. I think it's a non-custodial, but I don't know. Probably going to have to pay lots of money. But not sure how, it doesn't matter how I feel, but I wonder how Americans who are going to vote in the future feel about having one of their candidates who's just walked out of prison. Just walked out of court guilty. Don't know. Wouldn't fill me with trust and or indeed, be inspiring for the future of your country. But whatever, it's nothing to do with me. So what was I saying? Yeah, so this uptrend is still one, and will be as long as this is the lower low, the higher low. We could do with another higher low. I mean, this isn't really a higher low, it's just sort of a consolidation complex. I don't even know what you'd call it. I just call this a high, and then hopefully it'll form up somewhere and push in a higher low, which will continue the upside pressure overall. But I do think that it's likely the next move for Bitcoin's to the downside. Maybe, back down to 63, should it start to close 4 hours or dailies back below 65. That hasn't happened yet, and the reverse of that, in my humble opinion, would be 4 hour and daily closures back above at least 69.5, but probably more like 75, and then another assault on the all-time high would be on the menu. Right, that's 8 minutes of whittering on. Not a great deal of change from yesterday. Apologies for that. There's not been any more price action for me to analyze. Anyway, I hope you've had a smashing Friday. And if you've enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. And if you haven't enjoyed the video, don't. And also do something else tomorrow for 10 minutes, because I'll be doing another one of these videos. All right, take care, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.